Hello, today let's look at an integral part of our analytical reasoning or logical reasoning section, which is the question on puzzles. From the movement that we see in CAT these days, of probably at least the last 3 years, we sort of can be sure that these are the kind of questions that you will see in a substantial number. Out of the 9 odd questions that you see in CAT of the analytical reasoning or logical reasoning section, which is a subsection of the verbal section of 30 questions, we are very sure that around 7 questions would be straight up puzzles. And puzzles are not actually puzzles per se, they are more or less situations created out of a simple table. All we have to do is put those tables back into practice. For example, let's consider this first example where there are 4 young men who are married, the names of their wives are given, their names are given, and the city where these couples live is also given. To add to the confusion, all the 4 of them have their names initials as R, S, T and U. So there is Rajiv, Sundar, Tushar and Uday. They are married to Ravina, Savita, Tara and Uma. And they come from Rampur, Sanchi, Tirupati and Udhampur, and all of them are R, S, T and U. When such kind of questions come up, we have 2 kinds of approaches here. One is we take up a tick and cross method. The other one, because it's a 1:1:1 relationship where we need to find out the name of the husband, the name of the wife and the name of the city, we can actually go and build a simple table of 1:1:1 relation also. But for practice and for starters, we will ensure that we do the tick and cross method. Let's get the question first. The conditions that are given to us are that the first letter of the names of men, their wives and cities does not match. That means if there is a Rajiv, he is not married to Ravina and he is not coming from Rampur. Similarly, Ravina is married to somebody but Rajiv and she is not coming from Rampur. So these are very visible indications. Second one, Savita is not Rajiv's wife. Okay. Third, Sundar does not live in Rampur or Udhampur and is not Ravina's husband. Fine. Fourth condition, the last condition, Uday and Tara do not live in Sanchi. Okay. The questions generally that are asked are which is the correct pair and who is whose husband or who is whose wife. That's okay, we'll come to the questions later. If you look at understanding this kind of an arrangement or a puzzle, we'll try tick and cross method wherein we'll anchor one person to the left axis. Say for example, I'll put the name of the 4 husbands on the left side of the table. On the top, I'll use the names of the 4 wives and the 4 cities. So that means there are wives and cities on the top of the table. The left, there's the husband. So there's a 1:1 relation for each one of them. Now we move in further. With the help of the first information, it can be concluded that Rajiv cannot be married with Ravina and does not live in Rampur, which is what we had about indicated. Similarly, it holds true for nearly everyone. So we can say Uday cannot be married to Uma, nor does he live in Udhampur, and all of those conclusions. On the basis of this information, we can cross the respective blocks in the table that we had made. After we are done with that, say for example, crossing Rajiv, Ravina and Rampur, Sundar, Savita and Sanchi, Tushar, Tara and Tirupati, we put enough crosses in the given table. Now we move to the second condition. Using the second information, we cross the possibility of matching of Savita with Rajiv. Fine, simple condition, 1 cross to be put in the table. Third information rules out the matching of Sundar with Rampur, Udhampur and Ravina. Fine. Fourth information denies the matching of Uday with Sanchi. This part of the information which denies the matching of Tara and Sanchi cannot be used in the table now unless the husband of Tara is known. So we keep this information aside to be used later. After using all these information, we see that only city left in front of Sundar is Tirupati. So very specifically, that is where we have to put the tick mark in this block, crossing row and column of the city to ensure 1:1 matching. That means the moment I have put a tick to the name of Tirupati, I will ensure other cities are crossed. Similarly, I'll do a row crossing as well. As a result of this, where do we reach is that Uday lives in Rampur. Once we are done with that, using information fourth that Tara does not live in Sanchi, and information first again, we get the matching of husband, wife and city very specifically, either through ticks and crosses, or we might want to rewrite the table later just in case we want to be more neat with our work. On the basis of the information given above, we can easily answer the questions. That is, the first one, the correct matching of pairs is that of Ravina and Sachi. Therefore, the answer to the first question is D. The second question, the wife of Uday in this given table is Savita. Hence, the answer is B. The questions are always simple to answer. The biggest challenge here is to document the whole table. The second example along the similar lines is on the screens. Study the following information to answer the given question. There are 6 family members having different professions. There are 2 married couples in the family. Exactly, 2 married couples in the family. M is the doctor and his wife is an engineer. Here we need to think about the second implication, that M is the doctor, so he is the male also because he has a wife. So M is male, M is a doctor, his wife is an engineer. J is the granddaughter of O, so gender of J is also clear. O we don't know, and sister of L, so we know that J is the sister of L, but we still don't know what is the gender of L. Given question is that L is a typist. Okay, so all we know is that L is a typist, we still don't know the gender. K is the grandfather of L and is married to a teacher. Okay, J's mother, who is an engineer, is the daughter-in-law of a lawyer. Because it was very clearly said that 6 family members having different professions, when we said that M is a doctor and his wife is an engineer, and when I say J's mother who is an engineer, we know that J's mother is M's wife and J's father is M. Once we are done with these kind of questions, we can slowly start placing them into forming a family tree. From information 5, we can place K and his wife, a teacher, in the first generation. Also, L can be placed in the third generation. From information 4, J can be placed in the third generation, and from this information, we further know the profession of L, that is typist, sex of J, that is female, and name of teacher as O. Information 6 helps us to know that engineer, a female, can be placed in the second generation, and from this information we get the profession of K as lawyer. Now the third information can easily be inserted in the family tree, and the only place left for the doctor engineer combination is the second generation. However, the gender of L and profession of J is still not known. On the basis of this information and the table that you can see, we can get the answers very clearly. The first question, profession of J, here cannot be determined, and hence the answer is option D. The second question, from the family tree, we get 2 married couples as KO and MF, and hence our answer is E. What we get from these questions is that questions are never a challenge. The whole problem is that of plotting the whole table or arranging a puzzle in place. While doing puzzles or arrangement kind of questions, always be first time right, because once you go through with the problem, it will be very difficult in case you get stuck to find out where you are stuck. Best of luck.